We've been here in Atlanta for a few months here. Started the shul called the Kaballah with many of the other people that are here. And
Okay, we're in now.
the idea tonight, we're going to try to go through some deep ideas, meet each other, have a little social time, but understand some deep concepts. But I want to start with a story. I always start with a story. Here's the story. A story is told of two young boys that are causing tremendous trouble. They're making a mess, causing a lot of trouble. And their mother can't handle it anymore. They're just tearing the place apart. So one day the mother calls the preacher, the local preacher, and she says, "Preacher, could you come in and speak to my boys?" He says, "Okay, fine." So he says, "Send down the first boy, Todd." Todd comes down. The preacher looks at him and says, "Todd, where is God?" I don't know. The preacher looks at him again and says, "Todd, where is God?" I don't know. He says, "Todd, where is God?" And Todd says, "I don't know." He runs upstairs. He jumps under his bed. His brother comes out and says, "Todd, is everything okay?" He says, "Jimmy, we're in big trouble this time. God is missing, and I think we did it." Now, people can think God is missing. You probably got to know where to look. Okay? You have to know where to look. And tonight, the topic is called What Madonna Doesn't Know About Kaballah. Okay? Obviously, that can be a very, very long topic. Right? No, I don't know what she does and doesn't know about Kaballah, but I do know there are certain tremendous misconceptions in terms of what's called pop Kaballah today. Right? Everyone is learning Kaballah. There's certain tremendous misconceptions. So tonight I want to speak about what is Kaballah and what it's not. It's one part. And then I want to take some of the ideas we learn about Kaballah and make them applicable to our lives. Okay? So that is the goal tonight. So let me start like this. There was a survey that was done. A survey that was done in the States of what are the 10 top religions in America. 10 top religions, huh? So they asked the Americans, what do you think 10 top religions are? So people said, obviously, Christianity was there, obviously, and Islam was there, and Hinduism was there, and Buddhism was there, and Judaism was there too. And there's another religion amongst the top 10. It's called Kaballah. Now, how in the world Jews manage that, I don't know. I guess it's the Jewish business acumen. We can get two for the price of one. I don't know how we do that, but somehow Judaism and Kaballah are both in the top 10 as the religions of the world. And that is a problem, okay? Because that's a misconception. Now, I want to ask like this. Does anyone know what is the seminal work of Kaballah? What is the name of the seminal work of Kaballah? The Zohar. Right? Don't mess with the Zohar, right? Exactly. Don't mess with the Zohar, right? Exactly right. Zohar. Now, does anyone know how the Zohar is constructed? What format is Zohar taken? Anyone know? The Zohar is written as an explanation to the 5 books of Moses, to the Torah. Now, wait a minute. If you have the Cliff Notes to Macbeth, or the Cliff Notes to Julius Caesar, is that a separate book? Of course not. It's an explanation of the book itself. So if the Zohar is written as an explanation of the 5 books of Moses, which is called the Torah, it can't be a separate religion. It's explaining something in the Torah. And this I know Madonna has wrong. I know they have it. Okay? So to understand what Kaballah is tonight, we need to take a little detour. We need to understand what is Torah. Right? We call it the Bible. Right? When the Bible bells, the Bible. But what is it? what exactly is Torah? So I'm going to answer your question as follows. Does anyone know what the literal word Torah means? What's that? Teach instruction. That's right. Those who are in Hebrew school you had there your morah, right? Your morah. She's so nice and friendly. Right? The morah. What does morah mean? Morah is from Torah. It's the same root. A morah is an instructor. And therefore, what is Torah? Torah is an instruction booklet. In the simplest sense, we're going to see much deeper tonight. The simplest sense, Torah is an instruction booklet. Okay? I want to share with you an amazing story. It's a true story that happened to Isser Zalman Meltzer. He was a great rabbi in Israel. He moved to Israel from Europe in the 40s. So in those days, when we went to Israel, they didn't give you like a big fancy greeting. You got the basic minimum. What you used to get like a hard bed, and you get a sheet, and you get a table, and a chair, and a pot. And then you'd get this thing to cook on. And it was, those like Bunsen burners, those things when you go camping, right? Those little, so they give them this little Bunsen burner, and it's on this looks at it and says, what's this? He said, Rabbi, it's a Bunsen burner. It's for cooking. It says, and tell me, what is this thing hanging from the Bunsen burner? This little booklet hanging from it. They say, Rabbi, it's called an instruction booklet. This proves the Torah is true. Huh? This proves the Torah is true. He said, Rabbi, no, I'm telling you, this proves it. He says, Rabbi, take it easy. You've been nipping at the Shabbos wine too much. What are you talking about? It doesn't prove anything. He says, no, it proves it. He says, what are you talking about? He says, listen, you give me this little lousy Bunsen burner, and you have a 25-page manual on how to use it. Okay? How in the world do you imagine that we can be created with a body, a soul, in this complex world and not have an instruction book on how to function? It's impossible. It's simply impossible. And that's the idea of Torah, a simple level. It's an instruction book on how to navigate this world. This world is very complicated. Okay, it's not simple on all levels. And therefore that is what the function, first level function of the Torah is to be an instruction manual on how to live our lives well, righteously on a psychological level, an emotional, on a spiritual level. That's the first idea of Torah. But it's much deeper. That's what we're going to see tonight. It's much deeper. Okay? So I want you to look at your first source here. Does anyone know, first of all, when do we get the Torah? When do we get the Torah? On Mount Sinai, okay? The Jews are in the desert, and we come to Mount Sinai, and there we hear God speak to us, okay? The incredible moments, the pinnacle of Jewish history. We're standing there, 3 million Jews are at Mount Sinai hearing God speak. As a side, you should know, of the 1,500 religions in the world, not one makes this claim. It's not a claim that you could falsify, right? Most religions are set up. One guy comes along, I had a dream. Last night God came to me and he said, there's a new religion called Ingvarism, and I'm in charge. Great, wow, that's fantastic. That's the way religions start, right? Muhammad started that way, or religion started that way. Judaism is the only religion that they make a tremendous claim that God spoke to 3 million people and we all heard God speak. Okay? So I want to take us back to that moment of revelation when God spoke to the Jews. So I want you to look here at your first source. This is in the book of Shemot. And this now is saying over what happened at Mount Sinai when God first spoke to the Jews. Okay, look at the first verse there. And God spoke all these things, saying, I am Hashem your God, who has taken you out of Egypt. To be your God. And then God goes to the 10 Commandments. Don't have any other gods. Okay? This is the first of Shemot. It says God said all these things, saying, and then it repeats the 10 Commandments. Look at the source here, what Rashi comments. An incredible Kabbalistic idea. Look what it says. It says all of these things. What does it mean that God said all of these things, and then it lists the things? Don't talk like that. Talk normal. Let me talk normal. Listen to me, it's Preston. Talk normal. Talk normal. Come on, talk normal.
Sound like to me.
So, sorry about that. So, but Rashi's saying, speak properly. Don't tell me God said all of these things and tell me. Just that God said X, Y, and Z. God said commandment 1, commandment 2, commandment 3. Why say God said all of these things saying, commandment 1, well, don't say that. Look at Rashi. All these things. Let's read and start. This teaches us that God spoke all 10 commandments in one utterance. He said the whole 10 commandments in one sound, which is impossible for human beings to do. A person can't do that. If so, why does the text then repeat the commandments afterwards? To teach you that God repeated the commandments individually. So what happened? God first said, why does it say God said all of these things? Because he first said the 10 commandments in one sound, which we can't understand. Right? 10 sentences in one sound you can't understand. And then he repeated it individually. Okay? That's what it says. Yeah. Let's be honest. Let's think about it. He said the Torah was what? An instruction book. Okay? Imagine you want to speak to your child. You want to give instructions on how to live their lives. And you say, son, come here. I want to share with you the most important ideas in the world. Come here. Listen close to what I have to say. Ready? You listening closely, son? It's an instruction book. You ready? Here it is. Did you get that? You didn't say, let me say it again, son. You got it now? No, still don't do it. Okay, I'll spell it out for you. Commandment 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Why in the world would God say the commandments in one sound? We couldn't understand it. Right? He says it in one sound, we can't understand it. And then he repeats it for us. So just say it straight. Tell me all the commandments. Why is it in one sound? Mind-boggling. Anybody have a question? This is question number 1 tonight. Again, the question is, if God is going to say the commandments in one sound, which you can't understand, and then he's going to repeat it afterwards, don't say it in one sound. Tell me the commandments individually. I'm a person. I can't understand 10 commandments in one sound. So why in the world did God say it in one sound, and then afterwards repeat it? Just say it straight. Question number 1. Okay, someone? An idea? Yeah. Okay, that could be.
Repeat it.
He said to prove he's the only one. In other words, it's something that people can't do. No human being could do that. So maybe to show that he has a completely different power than any individual. It's a good idea. I'll get back to it. Very good. Okay. Now, I'm going to answer this question. But first, we're going to see the second source, which is going to be the Jewish way of asking more questions, right? That's the way it works, right? 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 Everybody knows the famous thing. Why does a Jew always ask questions? You know this thing? Why do Jews always ask questions? You know the answer? Why not? That's what we do. We ask questions. So now I want to go to the second source. The second source now, we're going to look at it, and we're going to try now to ask some more questions, and then we're going to try it all together. But I need to explain this first. Before you look at the second source, which is going to be very, very strange, I'm warning you right now, the second source is going to sound bizarre. The second source is a Talmudic text called an Agadah. Aleph, Gimel, the second source is called Agadah. Okay, what is that? What that is that it's translated as legends. It's translated as the legends of the Talmud. It's not that. It's not that. Let me tell you what it is before you read it. The Agadah is the deep mystical ideas of the Talmud that the sages didn't want you to understand so simply. So they played a little trick. Look here, tell me what you noticed about the word Agadah. Any notice anything about it? Those of you Hebrew? It's Aleph, Gimel, Daled, Hey. That's right. What's the difference? What's it mean? Agadah is like, it almost sounds like a nursery rhyme. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. It's all nice in order. A, B, C, D, E, Aleph, Gimel, Daled, Hey. Right? It's in order. Except what happened? There's a bait that's missing. A bait that's missing. Why is that? Because the concept is like this. The Agadah is the rabbis making this nice story. They present this like it's a fable, like a little kid's story. But it's a very, very deep mystery. And what they do is they take the base and they hide it. Okay? And every letter in Hebrew has a number. Aleph is 1, base is 2, 3, 4, 5. They hide the base. Why? Because the base represents 2. Represents rabbi and student. And the only way to uncover the hidden mystery of this Agadah we're about to see is in a dynamic of rabbi and student. There's no other way to do it. Okay? They're hiding what they're saying. It sounds like a nice, funny story. You can read it and see, what the heck is going on? It's a fable. It's not a fable. It's a deep mystery. They're making it like a little story, but they're hiding the depth of it until we unlock it. Okay? Let me just give you a little, as a side. This is how we're going to unlock this. Let me just explain something. Elishev and I, when we got married, so for our honeymoon, we were looking for a secluded island. That was our goal. Find an island where there'd be a secluded beach, nobody else. That was our goal. So we went to this island called the Seychelles Islands. Okay? When we got there, so what happened was they had never seen a Jew before. Okay? We were the first Jews they ever saw. So basically, it was very interesting how things worked. We got off the plane, and we're walking down the road. And the sheriff says to me, Army, we're being followed. I said, what are you talking about? Being followed. I said, hang a left. Hang a left. The guy's still following us. So I said, hang a right. Hang a right. The guy's following us still. Left again. He's still following us. Right, he's following us. What are we going to do? So I get freaked out. At one point I turn and I say to him, what do you want? He comes to me and says, are you Israelites? Yeah. The chosen nation? I said, yeah. I've never met an Israelite before! Take it easy, guy. Wow! This guy followed us around the whole time on the island. He came to us on Shabbos. We had to bring our own food. There's no kosher food. We brought our own Shabbos. We brought like tuna fish, He'd come and go, oh my gosh, is this spiritual Jewish food? Just Starkist, man. Take it easy. Anyway, so we're on this island, and what happens is, we go to the hotel. In the hotel, what happens is we get to the hotel, and the guy looks at me and says, are you Jewish? Oh, not again. Oh, man. Again, on vacation. He says, you Jewish? I said, yeah. He says, I have been excommunicated from this island. I said, really, why? He says, because the preacher calls me a heretic. I said, why does he do that? Because I ask a lot of questions. So I told him, I said, in Judaism, the most spiritual person, the greatest scholar, is the one that asks the most questions. The guy that ruined my honeymoon. Every 2 minutes, Ralph, I got a question for you. It's 2 in the morning, leave me alone. That's what happened. Basically, questions and questions the whole time. The theme we need to do right now is, the way we're going to get this base here, is I'm going to read you this bizarre story. And then I want you to take 2 minutes amongst yourselves and ask what? Question, and more questions. Okay? Here's the story. You can follow along. I'll say it out, and I won't read it to you verbatim, but you can follow it. The story is as follows. We said that the Jews got the Torah Mount Sinai. They heard God speak. Then Moses goes up to the mountain, and then he now communicates with God. He gets the whole Torah. When he gets up there, Rabbi Shua, the son of Levi, said, at the time when Moses ascended to the heavenly heights, Moses goes up to the mountain. The angel said to him, the angel said to God, "What's this guy doing here? What's this man doing here?" God said to him, "He's come to receive the Torah." The angel said before him, "The coveted treasure Torah that was stored with you before the world was created, you intend to give to flesh and blood? You're going to give this guy the Torah? No way! What is it more you should remember him? Your son of Major call him. Rather bestow your glory upon the heavens and leave the Torah with us." Okay? Moses wants to go and get the Torah, and the angels go and say, "What's he doing here?" So he gets the Torah. Give the Torah to him? He's a nobody. He's a schnorrer. He's a nobody. Give the Torah to us. We're the angels. I'm in the California version, really. We're the angels. So now, the Holy and Blessed be, he said to Moses, "Give them an answer." Moses said before him, "Master of the universe, I fear to reply them, lest they burn me with the breath of their mouths. I'm afraid they're going to burn me up." God said to him, "Take hold to my throne of glory and give them an answer." Okay? I'm not going to read the rest to you, just a second. But then Moshe repeats and says, "Listen, tell me, guys." Okay, I'll give you an answer. The first commandment is, "I'm your God, took you out of Egypt." Were you guys in Egypt? No. The second commandment is, "Don't have idols." Do you live among idolaters? No. Keep the Sabbath. Do you work? No. Don't kill. Can you kill? No. Don't steal. Do you want to steal? No. The Torah is not for you, it's for us. And the angels say, "You're right. You're right." And so they give Moses gifts. They say, "You're right. Give the Torah to the Jewish people. Give the Torah to mankind." And they all become Moses' friend. They give him gifts. Okay? Now I'm going to give you a two-minute break here. I want you to say, whatever groups you're in, try to take a minute or two and ask yourselves amongst yourselves, what makes no sense in this story besides for all of them? It makes no sense. All of it makes no sense. And we take 2 or 3 minutes now and figure out the questions. We get good questions, we get good answers. And the point of the question is, the law is by Passover, if there is no kids at the Passover table, there's only 80-year-old sages, and one of them's got to stand up and sing the Manashtana. Kind of nutty, right? Come on, Yaakov, stand up. Bust him, stand Manashtana. Stand up, Manashtana right now. He has to know why. Why? Because you can't understand the answer until you have a question. It's impossible. That's why the Seder is built that way. Let's take 2 minutes amongst ourselves. Ask me what makes no sense. Okay, let's hear. What do we got? Alright, so let's get together, everyone. So before answers, questions. Shay, I got a question.
Okay, yeah, I do. So, if an angel just takes instructions from God, just has one thing to do, why would they care who gets the Torah? They don't have free will. They don't have choice. They don't have decisions to make. Why would they care?
It's a great question. Angels, just like Michelle was saying, angels, I'm going to stand with the R, because I even hate saying the word angels, because you have a picture of the guys on your shoulders, it's so weird. What is that? Yeah, angels are spiritual forces that God created in the world, okay? We say angels have one leg, but when we pray, we put our legs together. Why do we do that? Because we're like angels at that point. Angels, we human beings move forward, right? With 2 legs, we grow. Angels don't grow. They're stationary. They have one job in the world, and they're like forces of nature. They're just laws. They're spiritual forces. So Shell is asking, if they're spiritual forces, who the heck asked them what they think? Why are they giving their opinions here? Good question. Yeah.
So we sort of thought that it was odd, going back to your description of the Bunsen burner and the instruction manual. If the Torah is supposed to be the instruction manual, and it says here that the coveted and treasured Torah that was stored with you before the world was created. Why would there be an instruction manual for something before the instrument that it's supposed to be the instruction manual for?
Right, because it was even created. Fantastic. Beautiful. Why is the Torah? The Torah is created before, but there's no reality yet. Why do we have the instruction book? Oh.
You took that and went into the other way.
Okay, let's hear.
Which was, if this was happening in Shemot, and Moshe is up on the walls of the Sinai, he's getting the Torah.
Right.
The Torah goes through the stuff. So he's getting the whole thing. He knows he's not going to make it across the Jordan. And they get so we need the end of it. He asked, please, and all these things. So two questions is, one is he knows what's going to happen. One is he asking. The second one is
Okay. That's a great question. Let me explain Charles' question. And this, I taught this to rabbis who did not know how to answer this question for years. This is a very fundamental question. What did we get with the Torah? What were we given? What did Moshe get at Mount Sinai? Moshe was given the 5 books of Moses. Okay? And the end of the book it says, and Moses hits the rock. So like hopefully he read to the end. Like, he's about to hit it. I better not do that. I read the end of this book, So what did Moshe get on Mount Sinai? Because he couldn't have gotten the 5 books as they are, because then he wouldn't have done what he did. I'm going to answer this one quickly on the side, because otherwise it's a very deep question. What did he got at Mount Sinai? So I'm going to answer this quickly. On Mount Sinai, Moses got the Torah only from Breshit to where he was in Shmos. He did not get the 5 books as they were. What he did get was, here's the point, the deeper, the meaning, the commandments, all 13 commandments, which then God gave over later in the form of the 5 books. And that's going to be a clue to what we're going to talk about. In other words, the whole 13 commandments he got, and all their meanings. And then, for example, as a commandment, you can't be haughty. So there's a guy named Korach, who's very haughty. So the laws of being haughty are now translated into the story of Korach. But really they existed even before as the laws of how you have to live your life. And that Moshe got, he didn't get the stories, he got the meanings of the stories. And that's going to be half of our answers. A great question.
But who wrote them?
What?
Who wrote them down?
Very good. So I'm going to have to answer very good. So the way it works like this, and I'm so glad you asked this, because people don't realize it and it's fundamental. At Mount Sinai, again, God gave Moses the 13 commandments, all their meanings, and the 5 books written from the first book until where they were. Okay? Then Moshe comes down from the mountain. He teaches the Jews all the 613 commandments, and then God says to Moses in the Ohel Moed, in the temple, in the tent of meeting, right? The Mishkan, the tabernacle. He repeats to Moses the parts to write down of the Torah. And that's why when you look at the Sefer Torah, you'll see there are spaces in between the Sefer Torah. If you look at the Sefer Torah, there are like, all of a sudden you'll have a part, let's say, Vayomer Hashem, and then there'll be a space. And they'll say, Daber, another space. What's this space doing? That space represents the end of the communication between God and Moses at that point. In other words, in the tabernacle, God would say, okay, now write this part down. He'd communicate this lesson, which Moshe had already learned the 613 commandments. He teaches them this lesson. Moshe writes that down, and that's gathered now. And he has all of these texts, which he has now, which he gives the Jews as they're in the desert, but at the end, it's all compiled into the 5 books. So what they got at Mount Sinai is all the commandments, all their meanings, but the stories of the rest of the 5 books, that's being dictated by God to Moses throughout the time in the desert. Okay? It's very, very important for Steve.
Also, I think it exhibits the kindness of Hashem and I guess, for us to envision it ourselves is very difficult, but if you thought that you were before the most all-powerful of all things, and you were instructed by that thing, you would never exhibit doubt. And God is allowing Moses to exhibit doubt by saying, put your hand on my throat. You know what I mean? In other words, he doubted, he in effect did doubt by saying, what if the angels...
Fantastic. Beautiful. I'm going to translate Steve's question. What is Moses saying then? Moses is saying, I'm afraid they're going to burn me up with their fiery breath. I mean, God tells you, give an answer. Give an answer. Stand up. And Moses says, get up and speak. Just speak. But I'm afraid. When you're afraid, get up and go do it. God says, give an answer. I'm afraid. I don't know, God. That's a good idea. Those angels are really tough. I don't know. Okay, hold on my throne. What's Moses doing? Good question. Howard.
What's meant by hold on to my throne?
That's very good.
To have somebody physical touching what?
But what the heck does that mean? Think about it. It sounds like kryptonite or something, The anti-kryptonite, I must hold the throne. It sounds bizarre. Makes no sense. Right? Moses, I'm afraid. Hold on to the throne, you answer. That doesn't make any sense. It sounds bizarre.
Maybe it means to hold on to the idea, not to the
Very good. We have to see we have to see what does the throne represent? What's the idea Moses is holding on to? Lenny, you're on the ball. Exactly right. So what are the questions we got? More questions. So we have the question, why is the Torah before the world is created? We have what are the angels doing? We have what is given over in the Torah? We have what's Moses having. What are the questions we got? Rachel.
Why does it seem like the angels are always competing with mankind? It's because it's like a reoccurring theme. Even like during when God is thinking about creating mankind, the angels are like kind of hesitant about the whole idea anyway. So why are the angels constantly in competition?
Okay. So I'm gonna answer this also quickly. Also, let's deal with Shell's question also. And this is a very bizarre way to explain it, but the Maharal Mikvah, great Kabbalist and philosopher, says that it's when this conversation happens or not is irrelevant. He says that it's not a question of the angels talking to Moses. It's a question of what should be. There are certain claims the angels have in the world, they have rights to make, and there's certain claims that man has in the world. And the question of whether the discussion happens or not is not the point. The point is the angels are saying, we should have the Torah. It's a claim, we deserve the Torah. Whether they make it or not is not even the point. But in a rational sense, they believe the Torah should be theirs, and mankind, God believes the Torah should be ours, and Moshe is stuck in the middle, and Moshe has to answer. So it's a very good question, but I think the answer to your question, Rachel, is that the angels and us represent who's primary. Who's primary in the world? Are we more important? Are the angels more important? Who's central in the world? We're the angels. But who's the world created for? And what's the function of each? Now we're going to see it tonight also. John.
Yes, I have a question about the entire lesson is, what's the point of the story?
Explain what do you mean by that?
Like, we have this whole dialogue going on between the three different parties, Hashem, Moses, and the angels.
Yeah.
What's the point of this dialogue? What is it coming to teach us? That's what I'm not understanding. What are we supposed to be getting out of this story?
Okay, what's the kind of teaching? But I want to take it back a step. What are the angels asking for? Help me out. What do the angels want here? What do they want? They want the Torah. Okay. And what does Moses answer back?
What do you need it for?
What do you need it for? Now let me ask you a question. Did they know what the Torah said when they were asking for it? They seem to have known what it said, right? So, what? I don't understand. If the Torah says all of these commandments, what the heck were the angels thinking in the first place? What were they asking for? What did the angels want? They say, we want the Torah, we should have the Torah. And Moshe says, did you read the book? Did you read the book? The book says there that don't kill, you can't kill. Well, you're right, Hey, that's right. It's not a good point. It doesn't make any sense. In Talmudic terms, it's called, what's the Havamina? What the heck were the angels thinking? Right? Why did they want the Torah? It's bizarre. And this is what John is asking. He said, wait a minute. The angels come along and saying, we should have the Torah. It belongs to us. And then God says, give an answer. Moses is afraid to answer. He's afraid that they're going to burn him up with fiery breath. And when God says, give an answer, hold on to the throne, the answer he gives was so obvious. It was so obvious. If you're an angel, you should know that. Why did they want the Torah in the first place?
They didn't really want the Torah. They just wanted God to kind of like be his favorite. So when Moses the moral of the story, I think the point is that,
You're saying an answer now, which is okay. You're saying an answer, okay.
well,
You can say an answer.
okay, the moral is,
Frame it as a question.
I like Jeopardy.
For 200 points.
For
Matt.
200 points, why does God treat the mankind as his favorite versus any other entity, either be it the Hamim, animals or angels or any other entity in the world, doesn't this clearly show that mankind is the closest to God?
It does. It does, but it's very good. Charles, you know?
Angels don't, that's just have feelings, they just do their job and they do, so it's not like they should be jealous
Right.
of.
Right. So what they're claiming, it's a very good point, that's what I was trying to answer before. What they're saying is that rationally, we don't think man should have the Torah. It's not a question of their emotions, they're saying like, wait a minute, here's the Torah. It's this amazing thing, and it should be for us. It should not be for them. That seems to be logical. God says, Moshe, what the answer to them? He says, the Torah says, do these and this. They say, well, you're right. Well, then that's not for us. And that's bizarre. The whole conversation is like, no one's talking to each other. It's.
But in creation, who's given the keys
We're going to talk about this.
to the universe? Was it man or was the angel?
Jason and I are learning Nefesh Chaim and Tanya together, so we have a lot to talk about. We're going to get to that.
But, I mean, it doesn't seem like the angels are actually saying, give it to us, leave it with us, like it says in the parentheses. It just says, what is immortal? Like, it's not that they're, it almost doesn't seem like they're questioning whether or not it should stay with them. They're just saying, why would the mortal be worthy of
Well, it's
it?
more than that. They say, leave your Torah where it is. Leave it with us in the heavens.
Right,
It should
but-
not go down to the earth.
For now, I mean, but that could be interpreted as now as just a question of why this mortal, why
Okay,
a mortal
that could be.
in
That
general.
could be. That could be a possible answer. That could be possible. Maybe they don't like now. Yeah, one more.
Maybe angels want to jealous of man, they like the man, they're not moving anywhere, like to be used.
But that was the question before. So we're saying they really don't have that capability, but obviously they're claiming something. So let me. What's that? That's what people are. That's what people are offering. And I'll give one more point, then we'll come back.
It says, the last sentence says, even the angel of death gave him something, as it was said.
What he
I
give
don't
him?
understand what he could give him or what he would
I
want.
left it out because that's Kaballah 102. I didn't want to get into that. We got a lot to do still. I just cut that part out, you know.
I think that when they were in the desert, they got the Torah, they needed something to give them a form of discipline.
Okay.
And I think that when Moses tried to give it to the people, and they didn't accept it the first time, only
Right.
but then the second time they realized that maybe this will keep us together as a nation. Something in writing, something to bind them together as one people.
One more point.
What I would need to understand is that when we do a mitzvah, that is when we connect with God. That is our straight, direct connection
Right.
with God.
Right.
So God is giving the Torah, giving the mitzvot, we bypass the angels.
Very good. Very good. You're saying exactly right. The mitzvot is what the angels cannot do. What are mitzvot? What are the mitzvot? Everyone knows mitzvot are commandments, right? Right. I love this. Right, but that's not true. Sorry. The word mitzvah is translated commandment, but the deeper meaning, you know what it is? The word mitzvah is the word savta. Savta means connection. It means connection. There's 613 connection points between us and God. That's a deeper meaning. Yes, God gave commandments. The deeper meaning is there are connections, and we can do them and they can't. You're saying very good. Let me try to tie it all together. Let me put the main questions we heard, and I will try to answer them. Okay, so the main question number one I have is, what do the angels want? The angels want. Okay? What do they want? They're saying, we want the Torah. Didn't they know that it's not applicable to them? That's a mind-boggling question. They're angels. We want it, and it's not applicable to them at all. And Moshe wipes the floor with them. Right? This was a court trial. They'd be finished. They didn't even prepare. They didn't even read the book, the pamphlet, nothing. Moshe says, you guys, what are you talking about? And they admit it. So what do they want? Why do they want the Torah? I don't get it. They don't know what it's about. Question 1. Question 2. No one pointed this out, but it says Moses, I mean Steve did in a certain sense, but they're afraid of the angels what? Their fiery breath. What does that mean? Because they don't brush their teeth? I don't get it. What do you mean? What is the fiery? I don't get it. So fiery breaths. They're angels' fiery breath. Right? Right. I'm afraid they'll burn me up with the breath of their mouth. I mean, what does that mean? It's like, use Colgate. I don't get it. It's bizarre. Question number 3. And I'm just calling for everyone's questions here. Question number 3 is we had a combination there with Howie and Steve and people said also the idea of holding on to the throne of glory. Only God says, if you hold my throne of glory, right? Hold onto the throne, then you can give an answer. Without the throne, no answer. What does that mean? Try to understand. Here is what the angels want. You know what they wanted? This is what they wanted. Whenever you try to understand the Torah, you can understand on different levels. A very basic level, okay? I do this action. I'm a nice person. I'm doing kindness. That's a good thing to do. When I do the act of kindness, I feel good emotionally, psychologically, spiritually. It's a very, very good thing. It's how I act. Then there are deeper levels to understand what kindness is. And one level you can get to understand that when you do an act of kindness, you are actually being comparable to the creator of the world, who creates the world out of his desire to give kindness. There are many levels to understand any act of the Torah. What the angels wanted is what we call Kaballah. What the angels wanted was the hidden rationales of the Torah. They wanted to understand what God created. How does he direct the world? How does he bring the world to perfection? How do the cosmic things happen in the world? That's the deeper level of Torah they wanted. And they said, don't give it to man, which Marcy pointed out before. Don't give it to man. Don't give it to people who are going to mess it up. Leave with us, because the Torah is so spiritual. It's before creation. It's the blueprint of all of reality. And that's what it is, the deeper meaning. Don't give it to them. Keep that with us, because it's so incredible. And people are people. They're going to mess up. And Moshe's like, I can't answer that, because they're right. We are going to mess up. I'm afraid of what? Their fiery breath. What's fiery breath? Fire represents spirituality. Fire is energy, total energy. It's always moving up. I'm afraid I can't answer them because they're spiritual. They have a good claim against me. They're right. I can't say anything. Why should we have a Torah when they're learning these things, the mystical explanations of all of reality? They understand it, and we're going to use it, we're going to mess it up. What does God say? Hold my throne. Hold my throne. What does that mean? It means like this. When you have a king sits on a throne, what happens? That's how he relates to his people. That's the way he first starts to relate as a king to his people. Holding on to the throne is like this. The Kaballah say, the souls of man come from the highest place when the world is created. As the world is being created, and there's another creation coming after the throne, the first and highest thing to be created is the souls of man. God says to Moses, hold my throne, look at your root. You are spiritually higher than the angels. The root of man is in a higher place than the angels. And give him an answer. And he looks at the root of what he's about, and he says, you know what? Angels, you know why we should have a Torah? It's not because of spirituality. Our root is higher than yours. But the key is, you know what we do? We take that from the highest level and we bring it down to every detail of life. You can't do that. You can't do that. For you, the Torah is all these spiritual ideas. For us, every single idea goes from the highest level all the way down to the lowest level. It manifests in one way all the way down. Let me explain this idea a little further. There's an idea like this. Every idea in Torah has 4 levels of understanding, called pardes. 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 Okay, the first level is called, the pay is called the pshat, the simple level. Simple level, level 1. Level 2 is a resh, that stands for remez, the hinted at reality. It's a little deeper. The higher level is the dal, that's the drush. That's the level where already we don't know how it's connected, but the sages tell us there's a connection. And this final level, the samech, is the sod, the secret. That's the mystical level. The whole thing is one entity. And what the angels didn't understand was, they said that we want it because we're spiritual. And Moshe said, you don't understand. You don't understand the whole point. The whole point is like a holographic image. When God says something, it goes to the highest level and it translates down to everything. It's not enough. You know, there was a guy named Bertrand Russell. Bertrand Russell was a great philosopher. Okay? He used to teach math, he taught ethics in NYU. They called me one day, they said, Professor Russell, we have a problem. What's the problem? The problem is, you are the professor of ethics, and we have found you're acting unethical. You're acting immoral. So he answered the following. He said, gentlemen, I was once teaching a professor of mathematics. Does that mean I had to be a triangle? That's what he answered. The answer is you have to be a triangle, yes. The answer is that on the highest level of what the concept is, of the Kabbalistic level, is not separated from the rest of it. It's all one system. The Kabbalistic level is to learn what God created. That's what you're learning. You're learning not only what He created, you're learning how He directs the world, and you're learning how He brings the world to its perfection. But every single concept there translates down into the lowest level also. And I'm going to show you an amazing, amazing thing. We talked before about the giving of the Torah. This is an amazing statement from the Nachmanides. Nachmanides was a great scholar of the Kabbalist. He says, Nachmanides is amazing. He says like this. He says that the Torah is all running names of God. They're all running names of God. It just depends when you break it up, it comes into a different system. Let me explain what that means. The last 8 verses of the Torah, who wrote them? Joshua? What's the problem? The problem is, the last 8 verses says, and Moses died. Now, he can't write that, because he can't be alive and writing it. Right? He can't write, and Moses died and he's alive, then it wouldn't be true. So you say Joshua. But it can't be Joshua either, because Moses gives them the whole Torah. How could it be? So you know what it was? Watch this. I'll write the first word of the Torah. Right. Very good. Whoever said that is exactly right. Breshit bara. Okay? I'm making this up to give you an idea. Let's say here's the first 2 words of the Torah. Breshit bara. Now, that's the way it manifests to us in words and sentences. But let's say, for example, you make the breaks differently. Let's say the breaks are here. This word, and then this word, and then this word. It could be 3 different words. Say the Kabbalists that really, on the deeper mystical level, the Torah is all running names of God. And what happens is that when it's broken up in our reality, it becomes words and sentences and stories. The last 8 verses of the Torah, Moses wrote them. But he wrote them what? On this higher level. He didn't write them with the breaks that we have. He wrote them as names of God. And then, after he died, Joshua looked and he said, oh, he broke them up. And it spelled out these 8 passages that Moses died and spelled them all out. It's very deep. deep idea. That's what we're saying tonight. We're saying that the deepest level of Torah, the Kabbalistic level, is the deeper meanings. But all that translates and comes down to the world into how we have to act and we live our lives. And that's the problem with the philosophies that are being taught with the pseudo-Kaballah today. Because they teach the deeper ideas, but it doesn't translate into the world. And with that, I'm going to answer our first question. When we started, we said that we said before that when the Torah was given, God said it all in one sound. You know why? Because it was showing you in the root of the Torah, it was all oneness. It's all understanding God. It's experiencing God. That's what it is. Then he repeated it afterwards to show you words and sentences, how you have to act in this world. But he specifically first said it in one sound to show you that the breaking up of words and concepts is the way we function in our lives. But the deeper meaning of it is experiencing God, experiencing oneness, experiencing wholeness. That's what it is. And it's all one system. That's the depth of what Kabbalah is. Kabbalah is that study. If you try to separate and just learn that without understanding how to act in the world, then you're a virtual muscle. Okay, it's a fake. But if you understand just the other how to act, you don't get to the deeper level, then you're missing out also. The Kabbalists call it a body without a soul. The Kabbalists say you can be a soul without a body without a soul. You can choose what you want. If you try to learn Kabbalah without a body, you're a soul without a body. And learning things without learning any Kabbalistic, you're a body without a soul. Of course, you need to get there. You need to get there. But the idea is to see the deeper realm, to understand all one holograph image that comes down to the lowest, and that's what's so great about man. The angels were very upset because man is the purpose of the world. Man can take those concepts and bring them down to this world and express them in the physical in every single way they can't do it. Questions, comments, thoughts? I'm debating in my head because I had one more thing I promised I would do. I'm not sure it's too much. Kabbalistic brains are fun. Part two. Yeah. Any thoughts, questions, or ideas? Anything we said. Again, I'm going to sum up the one point again. What we've come out with tonight to understand is what is Kaballah. We understand what Kaballah is it's all one system. What Madonna has wrong is that they've separated the Kabbalistic level from the rest of the world. They think it's a separate religion. And it's not true. What it is that when you do an act of kindness, that has ramifications spiritually, emotionally, and on the deepest levels. So when I'm reading the book of Genesis, and my 5-year-old are reading it, we're reading the same book on 2 different levels. And 8-year-old Kabbalists are reading on a different level. And it's all the same thing. I'll tell you the truth, when I went to Israel, I remember when I first went there after college, everyone's talking about the Torah. We're learning Torah. And I was like, I didn't really understand. I said, what is so amazing about Torah? Maybe it's a fantastic book. It's a great book. Everyone's going crazy. We're learning Torah. What's so amazing? And I realized Torah is not a book. It is not a book. Here's what Torah is. Torah is the infinite put into the finite. What is it? It's God's thoughts. God says, here are my thoughts. You want to learn on this level? You want to learn on this level. My thoughts are, if your car rear-ends his car, you got to pay him this amount of money. That's true. And you want to know my deeper thoughts? It's all God's thoughts. And that's what you don't understand. It's like imagine you had a friend who was an artist. Okay? And the artist takes a picture, and they paint the picture and say, here's the picture. And I want to tell you something. I have put everything that I am into this painting. I want to give it to you as a present. You take it, you look at it, and you say, not so good. What kind of friend are you? A terrible friend. God is giving us Himself so we can atone. He's taking his thoughts, so to speak, and putting it into the Torah. You can have it at the highest level or on any level you want. That's what it means. The Kabbalah's level is the higher level of understanding how he functions and creates the cosmic worlds and where the world's going to. And on the most fundamental level is, if your Pariran's mind, how you have to act, they're all God's thoughts, one and the same. Any question right there?
So when you're looking at parts, where does Kaballah fall out in parts?
Samach. Right? Pei, Reish, Dalet, Samach. Samach. Sod, secret. It's the last one. It's the highest level.
So does it work in a, you have to attain each level and then move on to
That's
the
a
next level?
fantastic question. The answer is simply yes. And I know somebody told me, someone was very upset I was teaching Kaballah. It's a mistake. It's a mistake. I'll tell you why. Simply put, yes. That's why the sages put a fence around learning Kaballah. They said you have to be 40 years old and this and that. Why they do that? Because they had a lot of bad experiences. We had people who didn't build a building, they started trying to build a penthouse, and the whole thing crashed. So what happens is, though, there's another concept, and that's why people have the sages put certain fences around it. Technically, you should learn the building before you get into building your roof. That's true. However, there's another idea. It says in the Zohar, it says that at the end of time, at this period of time, these concepts will come out to the world. And they're going to be accessible to us. And they're going to wake us up from our sleep. That's what happens. So the reason why it's okay to do this is because we're not yet learning inside the Zohar and all its intricacies, but we're getting the concepts that we're pulling out because they wake us up from where we're at right now, and it's going to be revealed during this time. So you should build your samech, but then you should keep your eyes. If you don't start building your other, if you build your roof, you don't start building your fundamentals, then at a certain point it will crash.
I guess I asked because it was always treated as forbidden fruit when I was growing up. Like,
Right.
it's only reserved for a select few to know. So I just wanted to see, like, if it's supposed to be all one holographic image, you should have a taste of it, I guess, to keep it, your eye on the goal.
Right.
Not just think of it as, okay, maybe one day I'll get to that point. Right now, I'm not at that level. That's why I was asking.
Exactly right.
I always thought of it as, it's forbidden fruit. Maybe you'll get to learn it in your lifetime, but
Right.
the odds of that happening are not really
And that's exactly right. Your idea used to be you learned the whole Torah and then you learned this. And that's the ideal. We're not there. The generation, we're not there right now. And it says in the Zohar itself, it says in the end of time, these ideas will come. I have a friend who wrote a book on Kaballah and quantum physics. And what happened was he was learning quantum physics, and all of a sudden he said, oh my gosh, I understand these Kabbalistic things now that I don't know how you can understand otherwise. And the point was that as the world is moving towards certain understandings of the world, these concepts are coming out. I'll tell you an amazing thing also on that point. There's a verse in the book of Genesis. It says, by Noah, it says, Bishnat Sheshmot Shana L'chai Noach, the 600th year to Noah's life. Okay? It says on the 600th year to his life, it says that the windows of the heavens opened, and the Tehom and the depths came out. Okay? So it says in the Zohar like this. It says the 600th year. You know what that is? It's talking about the 600th year to the millennium 5000. Okay? 5,000. This says in the Zohar, written thousands of years ago. 5,600 years. How many years ago is that? We're now in the year 5,770. So when does that come out?
170.
170 years ago. Okay? What year is that? What year is that? It's the
1839.
Yeah, 1839. 1840. So the Hasidic masters say, you know what happens? What happened was the Kabbalist wisdom was supposed to come into the world in the 1840s. And when we didn't merit it, it turned into the Industrial Revolution. Amazing idea. Amazing idea. What does it mean? It means that we didn't merit it, the wisdom started coming into the world. It's true the Kabbalist wisdom started coming into the world also. From 1840 on, these concepts, it says in the Zohar, from the year 1840 on, will start coming into the world. The Hasidic movement came into being. They started revealing things that were not revealed before. If you look at texts prior to 1840, the Kabbalists say, and those who understand will understand. Thank you very much. That's what it says. I may even Yavish. If you understand, you understand. If you don't, sorry, Charlie. That's what they say. After 1840, these things started becoming revealed, and that's because the gates of heavens were open, and now we're in a different stage where we need to get a little bit of that to enliven us at this point to understand things. Okay. All right, great. Oh, so as an announcement, we would like to do this once a month, if people want to come. I printed out, we're going to do the next one here on January 6th, Wednesday, January 6th, and God willing, we'll do it the first Wednesday of the month. We'll have an event here with having some food and some different topics, and that could be a wonderful thing. So we printed out here for January 6th. There's that. There is a class that we're also doing on Wednesdays. Not this next Wednesday because it's Thanksgiving. The one after that's called Mysteries Revealed, where I'm going through the book of Genesis, through the stories in a very, very deep way. This is a lot of fun. And that's going to be 3 more parts of that series. You can see the flyer over there. And for young adults, we have Tuesday night at Borders Bookstore. We're having class. And this Sunday, for young adults, 20s and 30s, we're having Sunday Schmooze, which I'll talk about relationships. So, thank you everyone. Thanks for coming, and I'll get it.
Please make sure that you've signed in an information card so we can be in touch with all of you and let you know when the next events are.